questions come in about the different types of swords and polearms and what they were for. Don't get too caught up in that stuff. They're not very difficult to classify. You have your giant polearms, your spear, your yari, anywhere from 5 feet up to 15 feet long or more. You have your naginata, this giant curved polearm, great for cavalry, great for fighting against horses and armor, great for leverage. Then you have your long swords, your great swords, what they call o-dachi. O means big or great. You have your long length swords. In the old periods of Japan, when they had civil war and they were fighting with each other for hundreds of years, these were meant for large-scale battles on the field. When you use a sword on the field, it's called a no-dachi. No means field or wild, and it's just telling you that the sword was meant for battle. It's long, hefty, sharp. If you take a naginata and you pop on it a sword handle, it becomes a nagamaki, which is still a polearm, but it has a long handle as long as the blade itself. Great for leverage or cutting the poor legs of the horse as they ride by, getting the guy off the horse, and then doing what needs to be done. As the old part of Japan changed, the Civil War stopped. Peacetime came. Muromachi, Sengoku Jidai became Edo period. Then the swords shortened. You didn't need these long, giant, unwieldy weapons. These became obsolete. They were left outside to rust or sold in the market, perhaps melted down and used for something else. Now you have the shorter swords called katana. Katana is just a word, classification for swords. And there are several types of katana, as many as 8 or 9. Here is your typical Edo period, what we're used to seeing in the movies. Could be used one-handed or two-handed. Shorter handle, thinner blade, sharp as a razor. Could be used around town when there were a lot more people around, a lot more things you could bump into. When you went indoors, you couldn't bring these big swords. You had to use your wakizashi, your side-drawn sword. In gun terms, that would be your pistol, your little ankle holster, Ruger. And then you had your short tanto knife, which was used not just for self-defense, but it was carried, slept with, and used for utilitarian purposes. You were never without these two. Depending on what history of Japan you're in is when you would use this type of weapons. They're beautiful to look at, but if we argue about the length, the weight, the classification, you're really not doing much to show me that you know how to use these. I've often handed these to armchair warriors and they literally can't even lift them off the ground. So theoretical knowledge is good, but experiential knowledge trumps it every time on the battlefield. If you can't pick the thing up and use it, I don't want you on my side on the battlefield. We can learn about these things through books and the computer and movies, anime. But can you wield it? Can you use it? That, to me, is the more important question.